and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother, made lurid and false claims about the royal family, which played on her fears and fueled paranoia.
In recent times, Prince William, who is well known for his unwavering commitment to carrying out his royal responsibilities, has made public statements regarding a topic that many people have been curious about for various years. Over the course of several years, the prince, who is now 41 years old, has been dealing with the burden of royal responsibilities, intense public scrutiny, and his well-kept personal traumas. The time has come for Prince William to finally be willing to open up and discuss the struggles he has endured behind closed doors. He is getting closer and closer to his 50th year. What kind of things has Prince William acknowledged? What preconceived notions had been validated by his revelation? We invite you to accompany us as we delve further into this really interesting topic: Revelations of Prince William. When Prince William was a youngster, he was surrounded by his family, who provided him with shelter and protection, and he was adored by the rest of the world. But as an adult, the highly liked prince has come out to reveal a fact that many people feared. This is because of the tragic circumstances that occurred throughout his youth, which included his parents' disastrous marriage and divorce, as well as his mother's death when he was 15 years old. Throughout the years, many people had speculated that Prince William was concealing a great deal of difficulty behind his seemingly perfect life. They were astounded by how accurate their assessment was. As the first child of King Charles, Prince William was born on June 21, 1982, at St. Mary's Hospital in London. He is the Crown Prince of the United Kingdom. It would be reasonable to assume that Prince William's life would be more akin to a fairy tale if he were born into the most spectacular family in the United Kingdom. However, was that in fact the case? His life was anything but typical from the moment Prince William took his first breath to the moment he passed away. Princess Diana was adamant about providing her sons with an upbringing that was more grounded in reality, despite the fact that they were raised in opulent circumstances. In order for them to gain a better understanding of the world outside of the palace gates and their privileged status, she took them to locations that the majority of royal children had never been before, such as homeless shelters, AIDS clinics, and even McDonald's. However, in spite of her best attempts, there were certain things that she was unable to shield her children from. One of these things was the turbulent nature of her marriage to King Charles. In addition, Diana not only lavished William with love, but she also confided in him about her troubles, sometimes sharing material that a little kid should not have to deal with. When Diana was with William, she frequently referred to him as her little wise old man, and she treated him more like a guardian than just her son. Furthermore, when her marriage to Prince Charles was tragically terminated, William felt the burden of his mother's sorrow resting on his shoulders, despite his own little size. One thing, however, could not have adequately prepared him for what was to come. In a car accident that took place in Paris on August 1, 1997, Princess Diana, who was widely regarded as the most revered royal of her era, passed away. William, who was only 15 years old at the time, was at Balmoral Castle in Scotland with his brother Harry when his father delivered the tragic news to them. Harry was also present at the time. Despite the fact that the entire world was saddened by the passing of the beautiful Princess Diana, William was unable to withstand the sorrow. Later on, he stated that he had been in a state of shock for a number of years, unable to come to terms with the death of the person who had been the most significant in his life. When his mother abruptly disappeared, the young prince was suddenly forced to navigate the world without her presence. During the funeral, Prince William accompanied Prince Harry, Prince Charles, Prince Philip, and his uncle, Earl Spencer, as they marched behind the coffin that contained Diana's body. The entire world watched as the two young princes, who were unable to move due to their anguish, completed that agonizing journey. Nevertheless, that was not the obvious choice that appeared to be made. After some time had passed, William disclosed that he had been conflicted and uncertain about whether or not he should participate in the procession at the moment. The words, "If you walk, I will walk with you," were spoken to him in a gentle manner by his grandpa, Royal Prince Philip. In a later statement, William referred to the experience as one of the most challenging things he had ever performed. Following the passing of Princess Diana, Prince William and Prince Harry withdrew from their responsibilities, despite the fact that they continued to battle with their grief in private. Over the course of several years, none of them disclosed their suffering in public, leading everyone to believe that they had triumphed over the suffering. On the other hand, William was taken aback by the unanticipated toll that stillness took on him. When the Prince of Wales discussed the burden of the untimely death of his mother, he made a profound epiphany that has reverberated throughout the world. Recently, he has been very candid about the profound impact that the passing of his mother has had on his mental health, as well as the path that his life has taken from that moment on. We have been given the opportunity to witness a facet of him that very few people have ever seen before thanks to this confession. We have seen that despite his prominence as a member of the royal family, William was not immune to the challenges that he faced with his mental health. The prince had suppressed his feelings for a number of years since he was under the impression that revealing weakness was not an option. He concentrated on his studies at Eton College and then went on to study at the University of St. Andrews, where he eventually met Kate Middleton, who would later become his wife. The prince poured himself into his task in the hopes of obliterating the torment he was experiencing. Nevertheless, despite his best efforts to go on with his life, the pain continued to follow him. In a documentary that was released not too long ago, William said that the shock of his mother's passing to him is still present. "My body is still reeling from the shock." According to what he said in the documentary Mind Over Marathon, which will be broadcast on BBC One on Thursday, many think that it cannot last that long, yet it does. Another member of the royal family, Prince Harry, who is also the brother of Prince William, stated that it was appropriate to discuss sad experiences. Williams, who is now the Duke of Cambridge, stated to the BBC that he had to make the decision to learn how to cope with the death of a parent, despite the fact that it was difficult for him to do so. In a moment of sensitivity, he emphasized that the shock is the most significant thing he still felt about the death of his mother 20 years after the event. After that, he went on to say that it was something that one never gets over, and that it was a point in your life that was so ridiculously significant that it never left you. Williams asserts that he even experienced the presence of his mother during his wedding to Kate, which took place at Westminster Abbey in 2011. How Prince William has developed as a member of the royal family. As a result of Princess Diana's unconventional approach to parenting, Prince William and Prince Harry had grown up to be modest and self-assured young men. This was due to the fact that Princess Diana had raised her children in unusual ways. Nevertheless, after her passing, the book was able to do a great deal of things once more. Beginning with the Jane Minor Nursery and moving on to the Wetherby Preparatory School in London, William received his education at some of the most prominent educational institutions in the world. Having access to private schools and tutoring was a circumstance that was essential for him to have in order to be prepared for the challenges that he would face in the future. Up until the time he reached maturity, he continued to follow in the footsteps of royals who came before him. When William was in his advanced level at Eton College, he focused his attention on the study of geography, biology, and the history of art. Williams was an exceptionally intelligent student. One of his academic achievements was a grade of A in geography, but he also received a grade of C in biology and a grade of B in art history. His overall academic performance was rather impressive. He demonstrated a strong interest in leadership by becoming the captain of both the football squad and the swimming team at his school. During his time at Eton, he was distinguishable not just for his outstanding exploits in water polo, but also for that. The decision to send William to Eton was a departure from the normal practice of sending royal descendants to Gordon Town, which was a school that both his father and grandfather had a great fondness for. Eton was chosen because it caters to the needs of the royal family. The academic institution, that is Eton, was attended by both his brother and Diana's father, who were both previous students there. In exchange for providing his family with regular updates on his life, Prince William had chosen to go in a different direction. William would be forced to protect his privacy while he pursues his education, according to an arrangement that was reached between the royal family and the sensationalist media. It was John Wake, the head of the Press Complaints Commission, who made certain that Prince William was regarded as a young man who was going through a significant stage of growth when he was attending college. This was done to ensure that he was not perceived as a public figure or celebrity during this time. For the purpose of highlighting the relevance of his academic years, this was done. Despite this, William's life as a student was not without its share of challenges. A significant brain injury was one of the challenges that the prince faced while he was a student. He also faced a number of other challenges throughout his time in school. The head injury that Prince William got in June of 1991 was caused by a co-worker who was operating a golf cart at the time of the incident. As a consequence of the injuries, Prince William was admitted to a hospital that serves the royal family. It was necessary for him to have surgery at Great Ormond Street Hospital as a consequence of the depressed skull fracture that he had incurred. However, the scar that was left on his head as a result of the incident was not the end of his problems or difficulties. In yet another instance, Prince William was involved in a collision. It was in 1999 when he ended up breaking a finger, which prompted him to have surgery on his hand in order to prevent any additional damage from occurring. Following the conclusion of his studies at Eton, William came to the conclusion that he would like to pursue a career in the military. The divorce between Prince Charles and Princess Diana was finalized during the time when Prince William was in the process of completing his training. Prince William was profoundly affected, both emotionally and mentally, by the occurrence of this event. It was vital for Prince William to take on a protective position towards his younger brother and mother because he felt the need to hide them from the media. This was the reason why he started acting in this manner. Due to the increased media focus that was directed towards the royal family, particularly towards William and his brother Harry, Prince William was compelled to spend his adolescence under continual public pressure. This was a consequence of the increased media attention that was directed towards the royal family. With regard to his relationships with the media and his thoughts on privacy, William claims that this event influenced his perspectives. Additionally, Prince William's outlook on relationships and marriage was influenced by the fact that he was present at the collapse of his parents' marriage. This event had a significant impact on Prince William. As a consequence of this, he approached his love relationships with a sense of caution and thought about himself. Because of this, he was ultimately successful in balancing the demands of his personal life with those of his public responsibilities. It was also the separation of his parents and the consequences of that separation that played a part in Prince William's understanding of his future role within the royal family. Additionally, the charitable work that his mother did served as a source of inspiration for Prince William, who went on to follow in his mother's footsteps as he grew older. In recent years, Prince William has emerged as one of the most prominent voices in the movement to raise awareness about mental health. He has been breaking the silence and campaigning for mental health. In an effort to eliminate the stigma that is associated with mental health and sadness, the Duke of Cambridge has reportedly discussed the passing of his mother, Diana, as well as his own issues with mental health. A powerful moment occurred when the prince revealed in an interview with GQ that being open about his challenges has turned out to be a life-changing experience for him. He no longer considers fragility to be a sign of weakness, but rather a source of strength. He continued by revealing that he is in a better place than he has been for a considerable amount of time, where he is able to talk about his mother who has passed away in a more open and honest manner, where he can remember her better, and where he can talk about her more successfully in public. Continuing with his forthrightness, Prince William mentioned once more that it had taken him about 20 years to arrive at that level of acceptance and openness with regard to his sexual orientation. He continued by revealing that there are moments when he still finds it challenging because the situation was so raw at the time. In addition, he disclosed how challenging it was for him to grieve the loss of his mother, underlining the fact that his pain was distinct from that of the majority of people because everyone else was aware of it. The narrative was well known, and everyone was familiar with her. When Prince William was dealing with the attention surrounding the death of his mother and the news that was published in various tabloids, he had a difficult time. His only way out had been to remain silent, but that was not the only thing he had done. Add the appropriate clip here. Next, the prince expressed his regret to GQ that his wife, Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, and his children, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, were never able to meet his mother. He went on to say that he missed his mother. He went on to say that he would have liked to have received her counsel and that he would have cherished the opportunity to have known Catherine and to have witnessed the development of his children. Without a doubt, Prince William was visibly saddened by the fact that she would never have the opportunity to experience any of these things, and that his lovely family would never have the chance to meet Princess Diana. This was something that he had disclosed to Alistair Campbell, who is a journalist and politician. Although the prince had spoken out about his sorrow, he did not stop there. He continued to express his sorrow. During the year 2016, he, along with his brother Prince Harry and his wife Catherine, Princess of Wales, initiated the Heads Together campaign. The objective of this initiative was to eliminate the stigma that is associated with mental health and to encourage individuals to seek assistance when they are in need of it. William has revealed his personal hardships in a manner that is surprisingly honest, and he has a strong desire to inspire others to follow in his same footsteps. Mental health was a great taboo. If you were anxious, it was because you were weak, the prince was believed to have said, according to a quote. But of course, we all do. The problem is that very few of us talk about it. He also criticized the culture of toxic masculinity, which he believed made it difficult for men to talk about the problems they were experiencing with their mental health problems. In the time since then, William has been instrumental in the establishment of significant mental health projects, such as Shout, a crisis text support service that is available around the clock for anyone who is dealing with their mental health. In addition to this, he built a platform called Mental Health at Work, which offers support to both business owners and employees. In an effort to encourage open conversations regarding mental well-being, he has gone one step further by holding open chats with other individuals, including athletes, celebrities, and specialists in the field of mental health. Much like Prince William, Prince Harry struggled for a number of years to come to terms with the loss of his mother. On the other hand, it was interesting to note that the younger prince appeared to have dealt with his personal sadness in a slightly different manner than his brother. The manner in which Prince Harry dealt with his sadness would not only put you in a state of shock, but it would also help you see the reasons why he is distinct from Prince William. As a result of the fact that Harry made it quite plain in a recent interview that he buried his grief considerably deeper than his brother, Prince William, the experience of finally digging it after a number of years was all the more excruciating. As a result of William's recommendation, he decided to seek treatment, which brought to light the huge emotional load that he had carried since he was a young lad. One possible explanation for the strikingly different effects that Diana's death had on the boys is that their ages at the time of her passing in August 1997 were very different from one another. It may be argued that Harry, who was only 12 years old at the time, was not old enough to completely realize the magnitude of what had occurred. Harry stated that he even started to feel that not having a mother was normal. However, that was not the point that surprised me the most. After that, Harry went on to disclose that he had only shed tears twice since the passing of his mother, which is a surprising statement when compared to the outpouring of sadness that was occurring across the nation at the time. The prince shed tears for the first time throughout the funeral, and then again after the ceremony was over. As Prince Harry watched a nation pour out its collective heart, he frankly recalled wondering how it was possible that so many people could be crying and exhibiting so much emotion. He was a witness to the nation's collective heartbreak. Harry claims that when he was 12 years old, he was perplexed by the fact that people who had never met his mother appeared to have a more profound affection for her than he did. The royal family was first criticized for being out of touch with popular mourning after Diana's death because they remained in Balmoral. This was something that the media noticed, and it was something that was brought to their attention. Immediately following the funeral service held at Westminster Abbey, Diana was laid to rest in a private ceremony on an island in the middle of a lake at Althorpe House, which is Spencer's ancestral house located close to Northampton. Despite the fact that it was considered to be over, the two princes continued to experience unending suffering. At the beginning of this year, Harry once again discussed how he had suppressed all of his feelings for almost 20 years, and how difficult it is to comprehend the psychological impact that such a detachment would have on a young child of his age. His recent revelation that he came dangerously close to having a breakdown when he was in his late 20s is all the more powerfully striking as a result of this. As Harry became more forthcoming about the circumstances, he detailed his anguish in a manner that was extremely personal. He explained that he had been deprived of the first and most fundamental form of comfort that a kid may experience, which is the loving embrace of a mother. After that, he went on to say that Princess Diana was the most wonderful mother in the world and that she was a wonderful hugger. In a moment of genuine emotion, Prince Harry admitted that he misses that particular member of the family while he was responding to questions during the interview. Harry went on to remark that his mother is always there in his thoughts, just as she is in William's, despite the fact that this does little to alleviate the anguish that he is experiencing. He added that there is not a single day that he and the older prince do not wish she was still alive. They wonder what kind of a mother she would have been now, what kind of a public position she would have had, and what kind of a difference she would be making if she were still alive. In spite of the fact that Prince William's life has been filled with both privilege and suffering, with his early years as a young prince, with the devastating loss of his mother Diana, and through the grief he has experienced while carrying the weight of royal duty, he has experienced a lot of things. He has made the decision in recent years to transform his suffering into a mission. Prince William is attempting to transform what it means to be a modern royal by being candid about his experiences with sorrow and mental health. He wants to take the role of a leader who is not only responsible for their duties, but also sympathetic and empathetic, now that he is a devoted husband to Catherine, Princess of Wales, and a loving father to Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. William is determined to establish a future in which the emotional well-being of individuals is prioritized, not only within his own family, but also throughout society as a whole. He has gone a long way from being a young kid who was burdened by grief to a man who is finally ready to heal and assist others in doing the same. His candor regarding the passing of his mother and the lasting impact it had demonstrates just how far he has come. In addition to extending understanding and solidarity to individuals who have stories of loss that have not been spoken, he continues to show sympathy for those who are going through the private realm of pain that is hidden from the public's sight. Prince William has gone a great way towards honoring his mother's legacy, which he has described as enduring, by keeping her ideals and holding the things that she left to him in inheritance in high regard. The fact that he is getting ready to take on the role of king in the future is unquestionable. Prince William is not only leading with tradition, but he is also leading with his passionate heart. Therefore, what are your thoughts on the information that Prince William has disclosed? Do you believe that he is coping with his loss more effectively now? If you have any views or opinions, please feel free to express them in the comments section below. For additional content, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Aside from that, please click on the videos that are displayed on your screen. You are going to take pleasure in it.